The Mikoyan MiG-29K is a Russian all-weather carrier-based multi-role fighter aircraft developed by the Mikoyan Design Bureau. The MiG-29K was developed in the late 1980s from Mig-29M. Mikoyan describes it as a 4++ generation aircraft. Production Mig-29 kiloseconds differ from prototypes by features such as a multifunction radar and several new cockpit displays, the adoption of HOTAS controls, the integration of RVV-AE to air missiles, along with missiles for anti-ship and anti-radar operations, and several ground strike precision-guided weapons. The MiG-29K was not ordered into production, and only 2 prototypes were originally built because the Russian Navy preferred the Su-27K in the early 1990s. The Mikoyan Design Bureau did not stop its work on the MiG-29K aircraft, despite the lack of financing since 1992. The program got a boost in the late 1990s to meet an Indian requirement for a ship-borne fighter following the purchase of a former Soviet aircraft carrier. It was first received by the Indian Naval Air Arm in 2009. Development origins. The MiG-29K project was initiated in the late 1970s when the Soviet Navy developed a requirement for a supersonic carrier-based fighter. As a first step to meet this requirement, the Mikoyan Design Bureau designed a proof-of-concept version of the MiG-29 fitted with a stronger undercarriage and a reinforced tail section, with an arrestor hook. The MiG-29 Kvp. The Kvp first flew on the 21st of August 1982, and was subject to extensive trials which demonstrated it could safely operate from a ski jump. But ideally a production aircraft needed more power and greater wing area. It was decided to base the definitive naval version on the advanced MiG-29M that was already under development, further modified with new undercarriage and folding wings of greater area, with the new model designated the MiG-29K Project 9-31. The MiG-29K differed considerably from the MiG-29 production model, featuring a new multifunction radar, dubbed a cockpit with monochrome display and use of the HOTAS principle, the RVV-AE to-air active homing missiles, anti-ship and anti-radar missiles, as well as air-to-ground precision-guided weapons. To protect the engine from foreign object damage, the engine inlets were fitted with retractable grills for airflow, rather than metal doors, and leading-edge extension auxiliary intake louvers used by land-based MiG-29s. The Mig-29 kiloseconds first flight was performed on the 23rd of July 1988 at Saki by test pilot Tomasz Szulc. On the 1st of November 1989, on the same day as the Sukhoi Su-27K, Szulc executed the first carrier landing of MiG-29K on the aircraft carrying cruiser Tbilisi. The first takeoff from the carrier's deck was successfully performed the same day. During 1989 to 1991, the MiG-29K underwent further tests aboard the Admiral Kuznetsov. The project was put on hold with the collapse of the Soviet Union, while the Russian Navy only pursued the rival Su-33. Mikoyan continued work on the MiG-29K despite the lack of funding. During its tests aboard the Admiral Kuznetsov aircraft carrying cruiser, the aircraft had a springboard-assisted takeoff from strips 195 meters and 95 meters long. According to the results of the tests, the landing accuracy proved to be very high, which made it possible at a later stage to switch over to a 3-cable arrestor system on the Admiral Gorshkov. The landing accuracy is additionally additionally enhanced through the employment of an auto-throttle system. The takeoff characteristics allow for most flights to be possible under tropical conditions at a ship speed of 10 knots. Revival. The MiG-29K program was revived in response to the decision of the Indian Navy to acquire the former Soviet Navy aircraft carrier Admiral Gorshkov in 2004. When Admiral Gorshkov was part of the Soviet fleet, it was a hybrid carrier cruiser using vertical takeoff aircraft. Thus the deck was refurbished with a takeoff ramp and arrestor wires for operating MiG-29 kiloseconds. The ship's combat group is likely to include 12 MiG-29K fighters. The aircraft has an enlarged and folding wing, an arrestor hook and a corrosion-protected reinforced fuselage. One factor favoring the MiG-29K of the Su-33 in the Indian decision was the larger size of the Su-33, which further limited the number of aircraft on deck. Modifications were made to the MiG-29K for Indian requirements, including the Duke Mi radar RD-33MK engine, a combat payload up to 5,500 kilograms, 13 weapon stations, and updated 4-channel digital fly-by-wire flight control system. It is compatible with the full range of weapons carried by the MiG-29M and MiG-29 SMT. The problem of lack of aircraft carrier-based AWACS platform may be tackled by further development of dual-seat MiG-29 Kvp. It is theoretically possible to outfit the MiG-29 Kvp with powerful radar and encrypted data links to permit networking of multiple MiG-29 Kvp aircraft for AEW coverage. The MiG-29 Kvp may also be enhanced in areas such as electronic warfare and long-range interdiction. The MiG-29 Kvp two-seat variant took its first flight on the 20th of January 2007, followed by the MiG-29K on the 25th of June 2007. Design overview. The MiG-29K was drastically modified from the Mikoyan MiG-29M for naval operations. The airframe and undercarriage were reinforced to withstand the stress experienced upon landing. Folding wings, an arrestor hook, and catapult attachments were added for carrier operations. The aircraft's undercarriage was also widened. The MiG-29K, unlike the early MiG-29, can both conduct aerial refueling and buddy refuel other aircraft. The MiG-29K has two widely spaced RVV-AE MKs. The early prototypes were fitted with two RD-33K turbofan engines, each with afterburner thrust of 86.3 kN and a possible takeoff thrust of 92.2 kN for shipborne operations. The RD-33MK engine features 7% higher power over the base RVV-33, enabled by the usage of improved materials for the turbine blades. Internal fuel was increased from 3,340 kilograms to 4,560 kilograms to give a combat radius of 850 kilometers. The combat radius can be increased to 1,300 kilometers with 3 underwing fuel drop tanks. The maximum weight of the aircraft grew from 19.5 to 22.4 t to allow for increased payloads. The MiG-29 Kvp two-seat fighter, intended for pilot training, can also conduct combat missions identical to the single-seat fighter. Cockpit and avionics. The aircraft is equipped with 3 multifunctional color liquid crystal displays, a 4-channel digital fly-by-wire flight control system, passive anti-radar missile homing system, Sigma 95 GPS receiver, Top Gun helmet-mounted targeting system and electronic countermeasures. Additionally, an onboard oxygen generating system eliminates the need for heavy oxygen canisters. The type types of combat missions undertaken by the MiG-29K can be increased by adding optronic, infrared imaging reconnaissance pods. The Duke-Me is a development of the N010 Duke radar, introducing functions such as terrain mapping and following. The radar, weighing 220 kilograms, features improved signal processing and a detection range of up to 120 kilometers versus a 5 square meters RCS target for the export variant. In the air targeting mode, up to 10 targets can be tracked and 4 targets engaged simultaneously. In air-to-surface mode, the radar can detect a tank from up to 25 kilometers away and a bridge from 120 kilometers away. A naval destroyer could be detected up to 300 kilometers away, while up to 2 surface targets can be tracked at once. The radar has a scanning area of plus or minus 85 degrees in azimuth and plus 56, minus 40 in elevation. The Duke-A radar was developed with modular approach, enabling upgrade of existing Duke-Me radars deployed in MiG-29 platforms into the active electronically scanned array Duke-A standard. India is already operating the BARS phased array radar on its Su-30MKI and has specified ASA as a critical element of the MRCA platform. The MiG-29K can be outfitted with an IRSD system integrated with both optical and laser systems. It can provide targeting solutions for ground and air targets at up to 15 kilometers, with all-round 360-degree coverage. The IRSD can also provide detailed trajectories of missiles at closer ranges. Weapons and defensive capabilities. MiG-29K has a GSH-30-130mm cannon in the port wing root. It has provisions for laser-guided and electro-optical bombs, as well as air-to-surface missiles like KH-25ML, 25MP, KH-29T, KH-31G, 31A, KH-35U, and rockets. KH-31P passive radar seeker missiles are used as anti-radiation missiles. KH-35, KH-31A anti-ship missiles are 4 anti-ship roles. 4 aerial combat air-to-air missile like RVV-AE, R-27ER, ET and R-73E are fitted. The aircraft is also adaptable to various foreign weapons. The MiG-29K has a combination of low observable technology, advanced electronic warfare capabilities, reduced ballistic vulnerability, and standoff weapons to enhance the fighter's survivability. According to Mikoyan, extensive use of radar-absorbent materials reduced the MiG-29K's radar signature 4 to 5 times over the basic MiG-29. The RD-33MK turbofan engine was also engineered to reduce infrared signature and improve aircraft camouflage. Operational history. India. In 2004, India ordered 12 MiG-29K single-seat and 4 MiG-29K UB2-seat fighters. The MiG-29K is to provide both airborne fleet air defense and surface attack capabilities. Deliveries began in December 2009. Prior to the delivery to India, the MiG-29 kiloseconds underwent testing on board the Admiral Kuznetsov. In January 2010, India and Russia signed a deal worth $1.2 billion for the Indian Navy to receive an additional 29 MiG-29 kiloseconds. The MiG-29K entered operational service with India in February 2010. Further deliveries of 5 MiG-29 kiloseconds and a flight simulator took place in May 2011. Further deliveries are to continue through 2012. The fighters are based at INS Hansa in Goa on India's west coast until the Admiral Gorshkov joins the Navy under the name of INS Vikramaditya in last quarter of 2013. The Vikramaditya is expected to carry up to 24 MiG-29K Kub fighters. The future indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant, currently being built by India, is also likely to carry these aircraft. Further MiG-29K orders by India were frozen after a MiG-29 Kvp crashed during testing in Russia prior to delivery to India. The Indian Defence Ministry commented that the crash cast the shadow on the credibility of the aircraft. Russia later announced that pilot error had caused the crash, and there was no need to ground the aircraft. In August 2011, MiG's General Director Sergei Korotkov announced that the final 5 out of the 16 aircraft contracted in 2004 would be delivered by the end of the year, and the deliveries of a second batch of 29 Mig-29 kilo-seconds would begin in 2012. In November 2012, the MiG-29K Kvp completed sea trials for the Indian Navy. In 2016, India's National Auditor CAG issued a report on the contract criticizing the fighters for notorious problems with engines and electronic control systems which result in serviceability of the airplanes varying between 16% and 39%, meaning that out of Fleet 10 fighters, only 3 are normally available for operations at given time, while the rest is being repaired. The Russian Navy has a fleet of approximately 20 Su-33s whose service lives are expected to be reached by 2015. Production of new Su-33s is possible but not cost-effective for small volumes. The MiG-29K was more convenient, as the Indian Navy had already ordered the aircraft, saving on development and production setup. India paid $730 million for the development and delivery of 16 units, while 24 for the Russian Navy would cost approximately $1 billion. In September 2011, it was announced that the MiG-29K was to conduct its first at-sea deployment on board Admiral Kuznetsov in the Mediterranean. The Russian Navy ordered 24 Mig-29 kilo-seconds in late 2009 for the Admiral Kuznetsov. Deliveries of the MiG-29K for the Russian Navy started in 2010. MiG and Russia were in final negotiations for an order for more MiG-29K Kvp aircraft. In August 2011, an order for 20 MiG-29K fighter bombers and 4 MiG-29 Kvp operational trainers for operation from Admiral Kuznetsov, replacing the Sukhoi Su-33, was officially announced in February 2012. However, in 2015, Major General Igor Koshin, the commander of the Navy's Air and Air Defense Forces, announced that a second fighter regiment would be formed to augment the current force, with the intention that the MiG-29s be used by this new unit with the existing Su-33s refurbished for further use. Variants: MiG-29K single-seat variant, MiG-29 Kvp tandem two-seat operational trainer variant. Operators: India. Indian Navy Naval Air Arm has 45 MiG-29K Kvp aircraft on order as of March 2010. The Naval Air Arm has 33 aircraft in inventory as of the 29th of June 2015. 300 Indian Naval Air Squadron, 303 Indian Naval Air Squadron. Russian Navy Russian Naval Aviation ordered 20 MiG-29K and 4 MiG-29 Kvp. These aircraft were all delivered by early 2016. 100th Shipborne Fighter Aviation Regiment. Accidents. On the 23rd of June 2011, a MiG-29 Kvp crashed during testing in Russia, prior to delivery to India, killing its 2 pilots. Specifications. Data from Russian Aircraft Corporation MiG data. Gordon and Davidson, Deagle, Com. General characteristics. Crew 1, 2. Length 17.3 meters. Wingspan 11.99 meters. Height 4.40 meters. Wing area 43 square meters. Loaded weight 18,550 kilograms. Max takeoff weight 24,500 kilograms. Power plant 2 times Klimovar D33MK afterburning turbofans 9,000 kilograms force each. Performance maximum speed Mach 2 plus at low altitude Mach 1.2. Ferry range 2,000 kilometers, 3,000 kilometers with 3 drop tanks. Service ceiling 17,500 meters. Rate of climb initial 330 meters per second, average 109 meters per second. 0 to 6,000 meters. Wing loading 442 kilograms per square meter. Thrust weight 0.97. Maximum G load plus 8G. Armament 1 by 30 mm GSH-30-1 cannon with 150 rounds, 13 hard points including the ones on multi-lock bomb carriers for up to 5,500 kilograms of weapons and fuel tanks, including air-to-air missiles, 8 air-to-air missiles, a mix of infrared homing, semi-active radar homing and active radar homing. Vimpel R-73, Vimpel R-27, Vimpel R-77, air-to-surface missiles KH-25ML, KH-29T, KH-35U, anti-radiation missiles KH-25MP, KH-31P, anti-ship missiles KH-31A, KH-35 Jacont in the future. Bombs RBK-250, RBK-500, RBK-750. Fab 500M62 General Purpose Bomb. Fab 1000. KAB-500KR Electro-Optical TV-Guided Fire and Forget Bomb. Others flares, infrared decoys, dispenser pod and chaff pod or electronic countermeasures pod or targeting pods or refueling pods or avionics Duke Me radar, infrared search and track system, SPO-15 barriers RWR.